What's good, everybody? It's your boy Steve Stylez from the Midday Live Show, and today we got an extraordinary guest. He is a professional fighter, 28 years old, fighting out of Albuquerque, New Mexico, but he's holding it down for Orland Park right here in the wonderful city of Chicago. Ladies and gentlemen, how about a nice big round of applause for Dan, the determined Argueta?
Thank you for having me on, Steve. I don't know if I can match that voice, I don't think you need an introduction. I can't match that voice.
I used to play Ready to Rumble on the Dreamcast, if you remember that system,
I
right?
mean, Gamecast.
Dreamcast,
Yeah,
Sega.
you don't know a movie,
Oh, I missed it. I missed
really.
it. My bad, G. But I used to always practice the "Let's get ready to rumble." I used to always try to pretend I was that guy.
I wasn't pretending. That was good.
Thank you,
That was a
appreciate it,
good job.
Dan. But we're here for you. Enough about me.
Sorry.
I want to. No, you're perfectly fine, my man. And don't worry. There's no need to hold back. This is a sanctuary where you can just tell us how it is. All right. I want to dive right into the questions. And number one, how did you get started in martial arts? Did you happen to do any sports in high school?
Yeah, I started wrestling at 7 years old, or
Okay.
8 years old.
Oh man, it's
Eight
pretty
years
early.
old. So it was right away. Um, and that sport just kind of took its course in my life. I got interested in watching the UFC fights, whenever they came out. And as soon as I was about 11 years old, my mom took me to Best Buy, $20 bill. I went to the Best Buy discount bucket and got GSP versus Matt Hughes. And then I got Matt Hughes versus Frank Trigg on DVD. I had these. And I was like, oh, heck yeah. Like, I'm going to watch these. I still have those DVDs.
Oh
I'll
my
let you,
gosh.
I'll let you burn them if you want
Oh yeah.
as well.
Oh, burning CDs, my man. I love it.
And I started watching that, and then you got to imagine, growing up in Orland Park, I was one of the only Latino kids in my junior high, in my elementary school, and it's career day,
Mm-hmm.
fifth grade.
Ooh.
It's career day. Everyone's or sixth grade. Everyone's ready. Everyone's, mom's a nurse, dad's a lawyer, mom's a
Teacher.
teacher,
Sure.
hairstylist, dad's a engineer,
Construction worker.
construction worker. Dan, what do you want to be? I want to be a professional cage fighter. I said,
Oh my gosh. What was the reaction once you said that?
um, I can't really remember. I just think I was like one of the only kids that I said my dream out loud.
That's good. That's
I said
confidence.
my dream out loud. I the whole point of it was you either make a poster, a brochure, or a PowerPoint
Mm.
about the job, the qualifications. Yo, I had my dream job written down to the T. I said I want to live in Albuquerque, New Mexico, train under Greg Jackson, the coach of George St. Pierre. Now that's my head coach in New Mexico when I'm at that training camp.
That's amazing, man. That's really good.
I, to the T, I followed the brochure that I made when I was 11 years old.
Yeah. Are you a big believer in writing things down before you actualize them?
I wasn't until that teacher reached out to me and said, "Hey, do you remember career day?"
Yeah.
I almost broke down crying, man. I just turned professional, and she messaged me on Facebook, and I was like, "Oh, I did say that," but I forgot about it. I didn't start training until I was 23. I wrestled through high school and college. Never even thought about that dream. Would watch the fights. Never thought I'd get into it. You guys are crazy. They're crazy.
But here you are now.
Yeah, and then boom, dream job right in my lap.
Look at that. Well, I don't want to say it fell in your lap because we spoke off air about all the amount of work you had to put into it and the coaching you received, the mentorship. It brings us up to the next question. who is Cub Swanson and how important was he on your journey?
He was my hero.
Wow.
He was my hero. Everyone, it's funny that I say that because he's even made T-shirts that say "Someone's Hero." And I always laughed at it until like one day I'm like looking at a photo of us two where his shirt says "Someone's Hero" and there's me with 23-year-old me with long hair, and I was like, oh, man, yeah, this dude, he saved my life when I needed it. I was in a bad situation on a bad path. A lot of people need to know that because I feel very strong about I believe that there's light after every tunnel. There's light. There's light. You just have to chase it. You got to do the right things, and he kind of taught me that. It's not an easy lesson. It was, not an easy burden to pick up and carry for the last 5-6 years, but worth it, 100%. One of the hardest things. If I asked 23-year-old me and told him, "Hey Dan, you ready to become a pro fighter? You ready to make it to the UFC? Okay, here's a list of the stuff you're gonna have to go through." If Cub told me the list, I am I allowed to swear?
Of course you can,
I'd
brother.
say, fuck off.
There you go.
Get the hell out of here. I don't want. Take your list back. I'm not. This is crazy. That's what I was. This is crazy. No way. But I believe that something about his demeanor and his legacy in the sport and what he's done.
Mm-hmm.
I believed. He did a lot for me. He put me up in his house, put me on a mattress on the floor in a guest room with a pillow, those Mexican blankets.
Oh,
and it's like
cobijas, man.
no. This one, it's like fuzzy and like there'd be different animals and shit.
Tigers, lions.
It's a purple one with like dolphins or some shit.
Even better.
Yeah, and that was my blanket. I have a pillow, no bed sheets. So I was like, all right, so this is what I'm doing. And like I said, I was on a bad path, and I thought that me going out there was like, we're cool now. I made it. Nah, that guy had me basically in AA for a month.
Yeah, in a way, yeah.
Yeah, like not okay. You're not hanging out with your friends. You're not getting to do the fun stuff. You're waking up and you're hitting the gym. You're waking up. You have to run before you get coffee. Like, you're doing things by the book. You're doing the hard things that no one likes to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I still follow those things. And it's all because of that guy.
That's amazing.
He really. I have the best older brother.
Okay.
Here in Chicago. The nicest person in the world.
Shout him out.
David Argueta, the best. He's the best. He owns Riverside Car Care in Riverside on Harlem. He's the best big brother ever.
Yeah. But what made him the best big brother?
Oh, he told me how to be cool. He got me into wrestling. He picked out my outfits when I was a little kid. He took me to my wrestling tournaments when he was in high school. My parents. Nowadays, you get in trouble for this. You remember being a little kid and you'd see the movies where the little brother would want to hang out with the older brother?
Always.
My parents would make him take me with them.
Oh.
No matter where he was going. He'd be going to a high school party. I'd be going to a high school party.
That's what's up.
9, 10 years old.
There you go. All dripped out, looking good.
And my brother was such a good example for me. He didn't drink. He didn't drink until he was 21 years old.
That's good. Now you bring up drinking too. Is it a distraction?
I like it too much.
So discipline is what helped you overcome that.
I understand that there's a time and place for it, and the time and place is not now. I have things to accomplish. I have fights to win, and I personally, I don't have a problem with other people drinking, but personally, it does not benefit me in my career, training, and don't get it twisted. I like to go have a couple glasses of wine with my girlfriend.
There you go.
I watch the fights, and I'll have a glass of red wine, and people are looking at me, and when they look at me like that, I look at the panza, and I'm like,
ooh, that's why. Yeah, I try to cut back. I see that la media panza. That's not a good thing, man. You don't
start drinking wine.
There you go. Well, bro, I'm South American. I'm Chilean. All we do is vino tinto. That's what I'm saying. We love red wine.
My parents don't drink either.
Excellent. Yeah, my mom's like that too. She doesn't drink at all.
Yeah, nothing. You know, if I bring a bottle of wine home for like the holidays or something,
Mhm.
and I pour a glass, you go, okay, sure,
Un poquito, un poquito nomás, right? Just a little bit.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know, that's how it starts. Like, but in general, you know, I'm not a big drinker just because look what it did with my path when I was wrestling. Like, it didn't help me. It made me fail because I put it in front of. I wouldn't even say I had goals yet.
Yeah.
I didn't have goals as an athlete. I just was thinking, okay, give me this degree, and you know, I never met any heroes yet.
And it brings you back to Cub Swanson, who was your hero that helped straighten you out and teach you so many things.
I never met someone that he was the first person to punch me in the damn face.
Wow. Yeah. How did that feel?
I went home, two black eyes, had a job interview. First time I never got a job.
You're serious? Wow. Yeah. You can't even expect that. So you didn't get the job.
I didn't get the job. 2 months later, I got the job. He asked me to come out to California,
Okay.
get my career started with him.
I think it's great. It sounds like you didn't get the job, but you got a career out of this. Big shout out to Cub Swanson. I appreciate that. Thank you for the honesty too, and the openness.
You have to be. It's you know, we spoke about this. I want people to know there's light at the end of the tunnel. I want people to know that it wasn't always Dan the determined. It used to be Dan the drunk.
Oh man,
For real, man.
that's tough.
I'm very very harsh on myself because I can be. I'm tough. I can tell myself the truth. I know what's right from wrong. Your parents ever make you watch Pinocchio?
Oh yeah,
Okay, we know what's right from wrong, right?
yeah, we do. And then we don't like liars. No, we don't.
It's like you know, to tell myself the truth and what is correct and what is the right thing for me to do to
Yeah,
achieve these goals that I have now. Huge, huge, and it was all from, you know, obviously the way I grew up, but it all goes back to Cub giving me that opportunity. Okay, this is what it. Here's a taste. You know, brought me to his UFC fights with him. The first MMA fight I ever went to was his UFC fight in Salt Lake City.
So he was still fighting at the time too.
Still fighting.
Wow, to this day.
To this day,
Look at that.
He just made 135 pounds and fought a tough up and comer.
Wow. Let's bring that up. The bantamweight, I think it's called too. What's your normal weight, and what's your fighting weight?
You don't ask. You don't ask girls this question.
That's right. That's why I'm asking the fella right here.
Uh,
Or how about this?
what do you think I walk around at?
I think you walk around at about 145.
Dang.
Yeah.
Are you being serious?
Yeah, about 145. Yeah. How wrong am I?
Super wrong.
Yeah.
You're about 30 pounds wrong.
Oh my gosh. 30 pounds up or 30 pounds lower?
I walk around between 165 pounds to 173 pounds.
Oh man. Look at that.
I start training twice a day. I 165 and lower.
Wow.
Right now, I'm a healthy featherweight.
We'll leave it at that. That's what's up.
I'm strong. I'm still lean.
Mm-hmm.
Someone else today, they tried to guess my weight. He's a fighter.
Okay.
My best friend. He's actually fighting this weekend at Bourbon Street.
Oh wow.
Nick Fishback.
Shout out, Nick.
You know, I asked him what he thinks I weigh. He said, I don't know, like 150 something. I'm like,
Thank you. I'm flattered.
I look shredded, weighing a bit more than that. So
Okay.
like, dope. That's awesome. That means I'm healthy at this weight for this fight. But obviously, you know, I'm playing with fire at that weight.
Oh my gosh.
These guys are big. These guys are dangerous. There's that side of the sport. It's not all fun and games and inspirational stories. It's dangerous.
Yeah, it is, man. When you step into that cage situation, my man, it's war.
It's it goes through waves. How I think about it. Sometimes it's a game. Sometimes when I'm in there and I see it as a game, I'm free thinking because I'm laughing, I'm having fun. I'm
Good.
me like, but then there's times where I'm on top of someone and I've dropped 50 elbows on their head and the ref's not ending it, it's no longer a game. It's not a game after that. When a 21-year-old kid takes 50 unanswered elbows to the head,
My
it's
gosh.
not a game anymore.
All the brain damage.
Now
Wow.
you watch my first fight with LFA in Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
I was the main. Yeah, I was the main event. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I was the main event. And this 20-year-old kid, they called him the next Anderson Silva, Brazilian kid.
Oh, wow.
6 foot tall, 10-0. I think like 7 knockouts. We're friends now. His name is Myron Santos. He trains out in Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
I'm lucky I fought him when he was 20 because the kid's gonna get good. He needed me to do that to him because now he understands the levels of the sport. But as I'm elbowing him in the head, I'm yelling at the ref. I'm literally yelling at the ref saying, "You said you weren't gonna do this. I told you backstage that I was gonna elbow him in the head, and you said you were gonna end the fight if he wasn't answering." The kid just took so much damage.
Oh, my gosh.
That's when the sport becomes not fun.
Mm.
When I'm doing my job, someone in the cage with us is not.
Yeah, the guy in the stripes. We'll call him the ref. Man, that's such a bittersweet situation because you're in a position where you need to win. And you're also in a position because you're still a human at the end of the day, and you're looking out for your fellow brother. But in a way,
Without that guy in there, I don't have a job.
exactly.
Without the ref, telling us the truth backstage, like, "Hey, this is what I'm gonna be watching." Like, you got to keep us safe. Like,
Isn't that their job?
yeah, that's the bottom line. You got to understand the brutality, but keep us safe.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when the sport kind of it
Gets blurry. The lines get blurry, right? Oh man, that's tough. Now, on one of your media day interviews that I watched recently, you have a quote where you say, "I always strive to work harder. That's just how I was brought up." Could you give an example of you where you're overcoming an obstacle?
um honestly they all stem from my dad.
Mm,
They all stem from him. Growing up, my dad didn't come to much wrestling events. I think my dad has seen me wrestle 3 or 4 times in my life.
jeez.
That didn't mean he didn't care.
Well, dads have responsibilities.
Yeah, and I began to learn that. As I was, oh, this is weird. I'm going to this top wrestling camp. Or, oh, this is weird. I'm chasing my dream. Like, and someone's, we talked about it a couple days ago. Like,
Mm-hmm.
he would call me. I used to have screenshots. He would call me every single day, 6 a.m. while I was in California or in Albuquerque. And we would tell matchmakers, "Hey, where's Dan's fight?" His dad is literally calling him every morning at 6 a.m., asking him, "What's he doing? You're still in bed? Get up.
Mm.
Go to training. Like, get up. You shouldn't be sleeping." Yo, man, it's 6 a.m. in California. That means it's 8 o'clock here. I don't even see the sun yet. Like,
Yeah.
but he didn't care. It's he's lighting that fire. He's lighting that fire. Telling me I can do more. I can do more. I can do more.
It's amazing.
And we talked about it. And he was like, during that time, it made me feel bad. I was like, "Yo, pops, I need some sleep. Like, I was training till 9 o'clock last night. I trained 7 hours yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
I need some rest." He knew it, but he also knew I needed to hear those things. He would tell me, "Oh, all you do is play. All you do is play. All you do is play." And then I'll bring him to my training, and he'd see my day.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need 3 naps after watching me work out all day.
That's exhausting. Yeah.
And it all stems from that word. He acted not impressed, and I was like, "Damn, not even that doesn't even impress him." I was like, "Oh," and we talked about it a couple days ago. During my amateur career, I wasn't, like I said, I wasn't getting into any trouble.
Okay.
Traveling the country, going from California to Albuquerque, traveling from both camps, going back and forth.
Yeah.
Same thing I do, and I wasn't working.
Mm.
And I had some backed up student loans from my final year of college that I stretched that money. I stretched it, and once that money was gone, I was like, "Oh man." My dad goes, "Really? How far are you going to take this?" said, I'm going to be in the UFC by the time I'm 28. I said this to him when I was 23.
Holy cow.
He goes, all right. I made it to the UFC 2 weeks before I turned, no, 4 weeks, a month before I turned 28.
Look at that.
Before I turned 29.
My man.
I did it while I was 28 still.
Well done.
I stretched it, but I got into
Yeah.
the Ultimate Fighter when I was 27, so I was like, oh, I'm right on track. Right on track. And when I say, I can always work harder, I can always do more.
Yeah.
Because I didn't accomplish what I told him I was going to do, so it's like, there has to be more I can do.
Exactly.
God, I'm not even close to God. Like, I gotta do more. I'm human.
We are, man.
I gotta do more. And he always kept that fire under my butt. But like during that amateur section, he'd give me $100 a week.
Mm.
He was making fun of me like 3 days ago because he was telling one of his employees this.
Yeah.
Because I think the employee
didn't believe him.
No, the employee thought I was like spoiled.
Ah, okay. You're anything but spoiled, Dan.
No, I was. Hey, my dad made sure I played with toys growing up. He didn't get any toys growing up, so I had all the toys. That's just how it works.
That's how it is too.
But I always had to be doing something. That's why they put me in wrestling. I always had to try to be good at it. I couldn't be doing shithead stuff, getting in trouble like that. Spoiled as in like I got toys growing up? Yeah. Spoiled as in my mom never let me go to school wearing gym shorts or sweatpants.
Nice. Yeah, that's how it was too for me growing up. My mom wouldn't let me out the house like that.
In college, I couldn't wear sweatpants. I couldn't wear gym shorts to class. It was just something in my head. Like I'd see all my friends in sweatpants. I didn't say anything, but I'd be like, getting dressed. Like, why are you getting dressed? It's fucking 8 o'clock in the morning. We were out till 5 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I grew up.
Exactly.
It would have killed to be able to wear the clothes that they provided me with.
Absolutely, man.
So like people saw that as spoiled, but it was just my parents making sure that I was always reminded.
Yeah.
I was always reminded of that stuff.
I think you're describing how your parents had standards, your parents had values, and they want to instill those. The funny thing, my mom would say, they have to.
Because they didn't have it growing up. So now that they have the opportunity to make those standards, it's like, okay. And, we were talking about it, it's like, it'd be a shame for me to go backwards.
Absolutely, bro. We need to evolve. We need to level up.
So back to, I think he was telling someone because I think that Dave thought I was spoiled.
Yeah.
Danny, how much money did I give you a week when you were fighting as an amateur? $100. And I was embarrassed to say that. And this employee was like, and I was like looking at the employee. I'm like, what? That wasn't that much. But my dad goes, yeah, this dude survived off $100 a week across the country for 2.5, 3 years.
Wow.
Gas, food, staying on couches, staying in my car before fights, staying. My coaches in New Mexico got me hooked up with a cabin. The rules were no party, train all day, every day, focus on the goal, be prepared to fight any week of the year.
Do you think it's easier to focus on a goal if you only have 1 or 2 goals that you have to attain? I want to call you Dan the Determined, but it sounds like you're Dan the Disciplined. Damn.
I don't even like that because there's always shit I can change.
Love that.
There's always something I can be more disciplined about.
Yeah.
There's always more. But yeah, I like that too. Yeah, I like that. I like to laugh about it because I'm like, I spent the last 5 years thinking I was being such a burden on my family.
Mm-hmm.
$100 was getting me through a week across the country. $100. I had a laundry hamper, training bag.
Yeah. Wow. That's it.
I thought I was a burden. I was like, man, my parents, I can't believe I'm doing this. I came to this country, so fighting in a cage.
My man, that'll motivate you.
He said this shit to me and started laughing. He's like, I had to make you sweat.
That's what's up. That's a great dad. That's a great dad.
I just had to make you sweat. He's like, I knew you were gonna make it.
Uh-huh.
He's like, when you first told me, yeah, hey, I'll be in there by the time I'm 28. He's like, there was never a doubt in my mind. I was like, that's why once I went pro,
Mm-hmm.
he gave me 125.
Look at that upgrade. Look at that.
You know how to raise.
You also mentioned too you're on the Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah.
Could you tell us quick how were you able to get on that? And maybe you're a funny guy, Dan. Tell us a funny story that happened while you're there. You got to. I'm sure you have a funny
Yeah, I
story.
got some
All right.
All right. So COVID was going
All
on,
right.
and I had just taken a fight. You know, I made my return to LFA, and I fought a good friend of mine now. His name is Jackson Fieldho. He looks like a superhero. If you search this guy up,
Okay.
he is just a powerhouse. Looks like a GI Joe doll. Jack. And that was 145. Jack, huge. My brother actually saw him for the first time on a when I fought after the Ultimate Fighter. So like a year later,
Mm-hmm.
my brother saw him for the first time. He was like, "Yo, did you see the size of that Brazilian?" I'm like, "That's the guy I beat." He was like,
Wow.
"What?" I was like, "Yeah, he's got hair now." No one believed me. I was like, "Yeah, that's the guy." So I had that fight, and now I'm riding high. 5-0. That was my first fight in 9 months because of COVID.
Okay.
So I fought with no crowd and all the restrictions, and then about a month after that fight, I'm watching the UFC fights, and then I see next season of the Ultimate Fighter, the return, and I'm like, cool. And then Cub Swanson sends me a screenshot of it, like a picture of his TV,
Okay.
and he goes, "You're doing it." I said, "What do you mean you're doing it? It's at 135. How am I gonna? I'm not doing it. You're doing it."
Right. You do it.
He goes, "No, you're doing it." I was like, "All right, you're doing it." All the coaches, friends, mentors told me,
Mm-hmm.
Dan, we'll drop down to 135 when it's exciting.
Wow.
I was excited. That was the excitement I needed, and it was just a long process of, okay, here, start with this application.
Okay.
You know, and I got to tell my story. From my mentors to how I grew up to my how I got in trouble, fired from high school for driving a bus full of wrestlers while I was drunk in the morning.
Oh man.
Everything. I laid it all out there. Let them know.
So so was it like a video process? You had to record a video? Were you on site like an audition?
Written.
Written. Oh wow.
Everything had to be done written.
That's what I'm talking about.
And then once they find out, okay, search you up. Who's this guy's friends? Then my friends, like Cub or TJ Dillashaw, Juan Archuleta, Brian Ortega.
Archuleta?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So these guys started getting phone calls. Basically, hey, who's this kid? Who's this kid? Who's this kid? And they're all vouching for me. Yeah, he's the man. That guy can do it. Yeah, that guy's good for TV.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh snap! I think this is really gonna happen. This is my vehicle.
Right.
My vehicle into my career.
Excellent.
This is what I needed. And the interview process. It started in like late November.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I went through that until March, so I didn't fight that whole time. Them sending an email, hey, congrats, you moved on to the next round of interviews. Oh crap! Like, I couldn't imagine how many thousand people put their name in.
True.
It's a ESPN, UFC Fight Pass, all over. Commercials all the time. So then all these fighters, right? Then you go online, you go on UFC's website, boom, applications, ready to go. I knew a couple people that filled them out with it. They would have done great on the show. And the dilemma was, if you're waiting to apply for something, and you're a professional fighter,
Mm-hmm.
and you ain't professionally fighting, what's missing? You ain't making money.
Exactly. So what were you doing in the meantime while you're waiting for the answer?
I was training like I had nothing else to live for. I was running hundreds of miles I ran, I think it was over 400 miles within the span of November to March.
Holy cow.
Running because I was dropping
Weight.
class. And on top of the running, I was training 2-3 times a day. I turned into an animal.
Oh my gosh.
This is all I was doing. Just putting in the work, and then I started with that's when I started with the social media. I started taking it seriously. Hey, these guys are gonna, this is a long application process. I showed them that no, I'm not fighting because I'm waiting, but at the same time, I'm staying active. Check this out. Check out how I can promote myself.
My man, you're creating content.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite things to do. I started making reels and TikToks.
Okay.
This shit's funny.
Yeah.
I can be creative.
Good.
And I like that. It's cool. People think people always want to say, oh, cringe, or oh, focus on fighting. Bro, I can't train 24 hours a day. Your body doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
You play on your phone, you play fucking Fortnite. I don't play video games. I barely watch TV.
Wow.
There's a lot of YouTube on history. I like that. We can go into that a little bit, right?
So what did it feel like when you got the call? Was it a phone call? Was it an email? Did they call coach?
They said, Dan, you're in the final round of interviews. It's going to be a video chat. And I was like, I'm talking to these people.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm in a Zoom call with all of the contestants. And I'm like, oh, shoot.
This is my competition.
Yeah, and I'm sitting there for a couple hours. And they finally said, Dan, it's your turn. So they boom, put us in a different chat. And I'm talking to these guys, one of the investors for The Ultimate Fighter, one of the people that works for Zuffa, and then the producer. Shout out to Gary. You're the man. Thank you.
Shout out, Gary. What up?
And it was basically just, let's have a conversation.
Yeah.
Hey, how do you describe your fighting style? What do you do? How'd you grow up? How are your parents?
Mm-hmm.
The hardest one to answer, because like I said, my dad, I had a raise. They gave me 125, but sometimes I'd put away that money. When I was a pro, I'd make $1,000, $2,000 off a fight, and I feel like the man. I'm like,
yeah.
I ask cops for money for at least 2 months.
Right. 2 months later.
Yeah. By the way, but this was the biggest dilemma. I didn't know, do the producers and the owners, do they want the truth, or do they want me to hear me say, I didn't ask anyone for help? They said, do your parents help you out, Dad? And I'm like, of course. Of course. I worked full time at the beginning of COVID,
mm-hmm.
because that was just kind of, you had to. Gyms weren't as active. Fights weren't as frequent. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna work.
So you're working with a mask on too, maybe, right?
Working in a construction yard.
Oh.
A steel yard, moving guardrail in New Mexico, and then I'm training. I go in for a couple hours in the morning, and then I go train, then I go back to work, and then I go train. And they were letting me do all that to follow the dream, And then it came to a point where my dad was basically, okay, we get it. You can work. You can work. You're good. Now you need to train full time. You need to get better. And this is a short window. You're right there. That's when he started paying me a little bit to just survive. Yeah, man. And that's I told these people in the Ultimate Fighter that, and they kind of looked around. And I'm like, no one ever asks me that, but I'm actually kind of happy. I'm happy they did that. They allowed me to chase the dream. Any parent, any immigrant parent, they just want the best for their kid. They want their kid to always want to do their dream. They provided me with that dream. I'll never be able to actually repay him for providing me with that dream. Right now, me and my dad have a couple things where we want to do together, and it all depends on, okay, Dan, can you land this bonus this fight? Yeah. How many fights in a row can you win? Because then we can get this and get that. And now it's like, oh, this is what he needed. this is me. This is what I can give back to.
Exactly. I'm sure he's super proud of you, your entire family. Sounds like you had an amazing support team. So important. I want to go into a more personal portion here of the show. Winning is great, and who doesn't love to win? But to you, the word win is more of a powerful acronym that you've learned to live your life by. Could you explain what the word win means to you?
You know, it's for me. It's not about getting my hand raised. It's not about not being able to accomplish what winning means. Getting your hand raised or not. It's not about that. Every day you got to win. Every day we got to do what it takes to win and win. That's all we got to do. What's important now? WIN. Win every day. You get to win every single day. You get to win. So it kind of makes the process easier. It's easier to stay disciplined when you're thinking, oh, if I stop eating the garbage and start eating this, okay, now I'm winning today. I'm winning. Now I'm winning a little bit. By the time you get to the fight, you expect to win. You get your hand raised because you made all the little wins throughout the camp. Or all you got a high school project due. If you wait till the last day, you probably ain't gonna get a good grade.
Probably, probably.
But if every day you're doing the right things in class. Okay, I learned this in class. Let me add this to my project. Oh, I learned this. Let me add this. Same thing as training. Oh, I learned this. Let me add this to my game. Let me take this out. Let me put this there. Oh, okay, I had a win today. I ran this mile in this time. You rack up all these important tasks.
Hmm.
These tasks that actually matter. You're gonna get them.
Man, well said.
What's
Once again,
important now?
what's important now? That's right. That's a gem, guys. You guys want to take that, lock it in. WIN is an acronym for what's important now. I want to shift gears to one last time. Um, what can you say to the person out there who's curious about being a professional fighter themselves? How can one get started?
You can make it easier on yourself. By getting into a discipline early on. For me, it was wrestling. If you don't have the money to wrestle, your family doesn't have the money to wrestle. If you're a little kid, okay, maybe you can't wrestle right away. Once you get to high school, you go to a public school. Boom, you're on the wrestling team.
You're in.
Yeah, now you start. After that, now you're 18 years old, or you want to go to college and keep wrestling. Great. You got to think of that like a black belt. Once you go through that all the competition that you're allowed to go through,
Hmm.
done. Now the fun starts. Now you start training every day.
Okay.
But if it's for someone that, let's say you're 21 years old, you wrestled in high school, you've been out the martial arts game for 2 years or so, I would suggest getting into the best shape of your life.
Okay.
You can only fight for as long as your body lets you fight.
So eating clean, working out is super important.
Working out, staying, just being healthier, making healthy decisions.
Healthy
Winning.
decisions.
Winning.
Winning.
Doing what's important now.
Well said.
Doing these things, they add up. And then you start getting your confidence. Then you're already in the gym. I hear too many people say, "Oh, I wanted to go to the jujitsu gym, but I want to get in shape first."
Don't you get in shape at the gym?
Thank you.
Just saying.
Thank you.
Just saying.
I want to get in shape first. Yo, running on the treadmill, doing curls, that ain't gonna help you choke someone.
Right.
Doing that ain't gonna help you kick someone in the head.
Right.
Once you can, you're doing all these moves and you're figuring out, oh man, I'm getting tired.
Okay.
That means you gotta hit the treadmill.
Mm.
Okay, now you're doing these things.
Get your cardio up.
I gotta get stronger. Okay, go hit some weights at the gym.
That's
So you
right.
can be better at fighting. You know, fight. Knowing how to fight and protect yourself and hold your own. I feel like that's a necessity in life. That's a necessity. That's something that us as humans, and especially like me as a man, you as a man,
Hmm.
a woman, we it's a good trait to have to know how to fight.
To defend yourself, your family, your
Yeah,
friends, your
yeah.
loved ones.
And you know, is having a good is this a good trait? I could do hella curls with my biceps. What's that gonna protect?
I don't know. All I know is two hands. You got one for jabbing, you got one for to protect the side of your face of some sort.
Or slaps?
Boom. Come on now. You're not saving people with bicep curls.
That's how I think. You go to the gym to benefits like aspects in your life.
Yeah, that's
That's how
what's
you get
up.
started. Get in the best shape of your life. But that starts by walking into a martial arts gym, getting on the wrestling mat, whatever it takes for you to get it out of you, get it out, get in there. I told my friends today, he said he never threw someone on his head. I said, you freaking dork.
Dude, you're missing out because when I found out in high school when I was in wrestling how to hip toss somebody and I knocked him out, knocked the wind out of him. Wow. That feeling is you can't put words to it. Oh, well said. Invigorated. My man Dan, I appreciate you joining us here on the Midday Live Show live at iHeartRadio Chicago. Um, where's your social? Where can people watch you? Do you have anything up and coming?
Okay, so my Instagram is at Dan underscore the underscore determined. My Twitter is DT underscore determined. Or is it Dan determined? Shoot.
Here we go.
You just search up my name on Twitter, it should pop up. I'm actually going to be fighting in Las Vegas January 14th at the UFC Apex Arena against Isaac Dolgarian, another wrestler. I'm excited, guys. I'm living my dream. I'm living my dream, and I'm working my ass off. Working my
Appreciate it.
ass off.
Those are great words to end on. I appreciate your time again, Dan. Dan the Determined. I'm your boy Steve Styles. Thank you for joining us today on the Midday Live Show.